Welcome back to part 2. Now we're going to felt our little purse. Okay, so you can see how our fibres are clearly not felted, but the felting process has begun. I have some goat milk soap. I've refreshened my hot water, so to get our fibres a little bit more shocked. So you can see the outside. I'm going to use some yarn. Now this is pure wool yarn, and I'm going to make a little design. You can use any fibres, any colours, as long as it's wool. Silk will blend with your wool, so will cotton, which is a plant fibre. The reason why I'm doing this and placing a pattern on the outside is so you can see how the fibres move as we felt. Wool can be full of surprises. Now, this is where the beauty of our grippy mat comes to play. And I'm going to use my soap and I can flip. Now we're on the other side. I'll cut some more yarn. This is the part that is still quite delicate. We need to handle our fibres carefully. Now I'm going to roll this together and I'm going to keep it quite tight. I'm going to gently but firmly roll backwards and forwards. So you can see, if I'm doing it correctly, that I'm making a lot of bubbles and a lot of water is coming out of our fibres. That's how tightly I am rolling. You can see how the process has begun. Now we're going to flip and roll. And I'm squeezing. Now, if you find that it hurts your wrists or your fingers initially putting this pressure on, this is a small project, but if it was a larger project like a scarf or a shawl or a coat or a large piece of fabric, use your forearms. Sit on a chair so you're not leaning too far forward and roll, and you can put quite an amount of pressure that way. So as you can see, my yarn is coming away from my grippy mat, as seen here. So that means I need to put more pressure there. don't mind these little curls because they will keep shrinking. So as you can see, I've turned it sideways. As I was saying before, wool is quite... Thank you for that. Wool is quite sculptural. So, and in the direction that you are rolling is where it's felting. So the part that is actually shrinking is the underside that's being rolled in that direction. So the bit that's felting as I'm rolling that way is this side. Thank you for that. He knows a lot about felting. I'm going to add a little bit more hot water now because my wool is cooling. We need to keep a balance of the fibers, maintaining some heat for that purpose of shrinking, for getting our barbs excited. Now we can start to get a little bit rougher, a bit firmer, and rolling our wool backwards and forwards. And we're going to turn it around. I don't want to use too much of the grippy mat, so I'll move it to the end. But I can roll it all the way to give me... Shh! Be quiet! To give me something to hold on to. As you can see, I'm making lots of bubbles. So I must be felting properly. Our piece is shrinking more and more. Keep it tight because we need to keep those fibers together. Having a nice sturdy hard surface to push down upon helps. Another great space that I make a lot of my felt pieces on the kitchen sink, because you have the corrugated ridges of the stainless steel drying side of the sink, so that creates a lovely ripple effect on the bottom of my piece. As you can see, there's still some resistance there, so I'm going to turn it over. Here is felted quite nicely. So I'm squeezing that to get the air out. Roll it all the way to the end so you've got something to hold on to. Now you can see that our piece has shrunk quite considerably, and what I'm concentrating on is my edges, because not only is that the part that's shrinking as in the direction that I'm rolling, but where you put the pressure on. So here I want to put the pressure on because I haven't consolidated that enough. Well, that is my opening here at the top. But here, I want to make sure that my bag is not, or my little purse is not going to come undone. Sometimes the bubbles, too many bubbles can be a hindrance or an inhibitor to the felting process. So if you find everything is becoming a little bit slippery, or too many bubbles and a bit slippery, then you may rinse your felt and start again by just rolling. You leave some of the soap in there. So now you can see my fibers are well and truly felted. I've trapped some of my yarn fibers and some I have not. So if you're particular, we can continue to try and felt, or I might remove that one. Sometimes when we're felting around the middle of a piece, there seems to be the less pressure is felt here in the middle of a piece. So you can fold in half, particularly at this stage, once we've felted our piece to this stage, and roll and place the pressure in that middle piece. Just gonna wash away some of those bubbles. So, I'm quite happy with how that's progressing. So, once you're happy with your piece, that's my peacocks heralding their happiness. We'll be back in part 3 to show you now how we take our 2-dimensional little purse and make it a 3-dimensional. Thank you. We'll see you soon.